Hello, everyone. My name is Ole Kagan, and I'm the Community Engagement Coordinator with LA County Library, and I welcome you to Microsoft PowerPoint for Beginners. Before we get going with today's event, I'll take care of some housekeeping, do the land acknowledgement, and tell you what we have coming up next with our Microsoft Office workshops. So, if you can hear me and see the slide up on the screen, then you're good to go. However, if you're having trouble hearing me or seeing the slide, let me know in the chat and I'll do my best to assist. If you'd like to listen to this presentation on the phone, you can do that by calling 1669 900 6833 and using the access code 830 1938 8652 and the passcode 123123. Additionally, automated closed captioning is available on Zoom in case you'd like to read along with the presentation. To enable that, you would press the CC button in your Zoom window toolbar. Now, you may have noticed that the mics and videos for attendees of the program are disabled. That's so that everyone can focus on our presentation today. I'd also like to note that the class is being recorded and you will receive a copy of it as a YouTube link in the follow-up email. And specific to our Microsoft Office workshops, I urge you to watch the class as it's going on instead of following along on PowerPoint, because oftentimes when it's a live class, it's hard to follow along. So if you miss something, you may not be able to get a repeat. Whereas if it's on YouTube and you're following it later, you can repeat and slow it down, speed it up as you wish. All right. Now, let's get into our land acknowledgement. The County of Los Angeles recognizes that we occupy land originally and still inhabited and cared for by the Tongva, Tataviam, Serrano, Kizh, and Chumash peoples. We honor and pay respect to their elders and descendants, past, present, and emerging, as they continue their stewardship of these lands and waters. We acknowledge that settler colonization resulted in land seizure, disease, subjugation, slavery, relocation, broken promises, genocide, and multi-generational trauma. This acknowledgement demonstrates our responsibility and commitment to truth, healing, and reconciliation, and to elevating the stories, culture, and community of the original inhabitants of Los Angeles County. We are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these ancestral lands. We are dedicated to growing and sustaining relationships with Native peoples and local tribal governments, including, in no particular order, the Fernandino Tataviam Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Tongva Indians of California Tribal Council, the Gabrielino Tongva San Gabriel Band of Mission Indians, the Gabrielino Band of Mission Indians Kizh Nation, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, and the San Fernando Band of Mission Indians. To learn more about the First Peoples of Los Angeles County, please visit the Los Angeles City County Native American Indian Commission website at lanic.lacounty.gov. All right. And now, before we get going with today's program, I'm going to also tell you about what we have coming up with our series of Microsoft Office workshops. So we've already done beginner and intermediate classes for Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, and we'll be repeating those starting next month with Microsoft Word in October, Excel in November, and back to PowerPoint in December. But this is the beginner's PowerPoint class. If you have interest in furthering your knowledge to become an intermediate PowerPoint user, or if you are already an intermediate PowerPoint user and want to shore up some skills, then we have a class coming up for you, Microsoft PowerPoint for Intermediate Users, next Wednesday, September 24th at 11 a.m. I'm going to post information about that in the chat, including the registration link. And of course, just like this class, that one is absolutely free. And if you can make it for all or part of it, that's great. If you can't, you can register for it and you'll get a video link by email. And if you'd like to learn more about our virtual or in-person programs, head over to lacountylibrary.org and click the events link on the upper right-hand side. That'll open up the entire calendar for in-person and virtual for all of our libraries for programs of all ages. And if you're just interested in virtual programs like this one, then you can hover over that button. You get a little drop down that says virtual programming. Click on that and you can see all our Zoom programs. We had a question in the chat. Will we get info for the Word workshops? I will send you info for the Word workshops in the follow-up email. All right. And now it is time to get going with PowerPoint for beginners. And to teach this course for you today, we have Veronica Vargas. Veronica is a library assistant for adult literacy with LA County. And with that, Veronica, the stage is yours.
Hello, and thank you, Oleg, for presenting me. As already stated, my name is Veronica, and I'm a library assistant with LA County Public Library. Today, we're going to be going over 3 projects using Microsoft PowerPoint for beginners. So a PowerPoint presentation consists of one or more slides that contain text, graphics, animations, videos, as well as other useful data. And today I'm going to be covering how to make a short form of presentation, how to make a photo slideshow, and finally how to build a simple deck of flashcards for studying using PowerPoint. There's multiple ways that you can work with each project, but for today I'm going to go over some basic ways that you can generate each project in a simple and hopefully easy to follow format. I'm going to be slowly browsing through a PowerPoint presentation that I've already made, but I do want to mention that this is not the actual presentation mode. This is just how your screen will look like when you have the PowerPoint application open. So with PowerPoint, there are certain guidelines which are called the 555 rule. Uh, these rules are used to help keep the slides concise and engaging. So rule number 1 is that each slide should consist of no more than 5 words per line. Our goal is to write a short, impactful phrases instead of full sentences. We want to create memory joggers to trigger your spoken points. Number 2, no more than 5 lines per slide, which means that we should try and limit the amount of text we put on each slide to prevent the audience from being forced to choose between listening to you speak or reading what is on the screen. And finally, number 3, no more than 5 text-heavy slides in a row. While this doesn't apply to every slide, it is a good practice to avoid having too many consecutive slides with a lot of text, since our goal is to mix visual slides with images, graphics, or charts to break up the text-heavy slides and maintain engagement. So following these steps will allow the audience to stay focused and encourage a natural flow, as well as promote visual storytelling. So this is what my basic presentation looks like. Um, Before I keep going with this presentation, I want to quickly demonstrate a cool shortcut that you can use, which is the F5 key. And when we hit that key, it will automatically launch us into our presentation mode. And when we're in the presentation mode, we can simply click with our mouse to go within the slides or use our left and right diagonal keys on the keypad to go between each slide. And to get out of this mode, we simply hit the escape button, which is at the top right corner of your keyboard, and that'll take us out of presentation mode. So now I want to quickly go over a few important things you need to know when you are working with your PowerPoint. So the first most important function within this application is the ribbon toolbar, which is the area right here where my mouse is guiding through. Uh, Before I go on, I do want to mention that you are going to be provided with a list of Microsoft Key shortcuts. They're going to be emailing you this document a day or so after our presentation ends. This document is going to have a lot of Microsoft Key shortcuts that you can use when you are generating your PowerPoint. This makes when you are creating the PowerPoint a lot easier to do. One of the easiest ones that I like to use a lot is the Control C button, which will, when we hit Control and the Z key, it will undo any action that we've done. We can also use the top arrow in the quick access toolbar, which is the area up here. This will also undo our function. And the other one is a control Y, which will redo any action. If at any point during the presentation you don't see me click anything and things just magically appear or disappear, it's most likely because I'm using these shortcuts. Um, okay, so each word on the ribbon toolbar is called a tab, and each tab has a separate set of tools and functions that are specific to the individual tab. So each subsection within the areas are called group, and as you can see, there's a small little division between each group function. And all the icons within each section will provide you with a variety of options that you can use to customize your slides. So in addition to the tabs that are currently displayed, let's say that you have an image on one of your slides. So let's go ahead and click on our image. When we click on our picture, as you can see, the picture format uh, icon tab is now populating our ribbon toolbar. And um, so another important tool with a PowerPoint is our slides pane, which is the area located to the left-hand side of our screen. From here, you can view a small thumbnail icon display of what your slides will look like. So within this section, you can easily navigate to other sites. For example, if I wanted to make an adjustment to, let's say, slide 14, as you can see, I have slide 6 of 17. Instead of having to individually go through each individual slide until I get to that one, I can use the scroll bar on our slides pane and just go down, and we can just easily click on our slide. And once we do that, it's going to automatically make that slide our main slide so that we can start making our edits. So now I want to go over a few more icons that are useful when working with PowerPoint. So if you look at the bottom right corner of your display, which is the area down here, you can see a few icons. These ones are called the view buttons. So the first icon is called our normal view function. So when we click on this icon, it's going to alternate between seeing what is considered our default view, which is what we're currently viewing, or when you click on it, it will also add our notes, or you can also see a general outline of what your slides are. And as you can see, my notes field is currently activated, but you can also deactivate it by clicking on here, and that will make it disappear. So the note field serves as a place where you can put anecdotes, facts, or even private reminders that only you can view when you are in presentation mode. So the next button is our slide sorter view. So when we click on that one, it's gonna show us a visual overview of what all of our slides look like as small thumbnails. This area is the best place where you can reorganize our slides by simply just dragging them around. And also, this viewpoint is very important when you are adding animations or transitions to our slides, which are some more advanced PowerPoint techniques. And finally, the reading view panel, which is the little icon that looks like an open book. When we click on this icon, you can preview as well as navigate the presentation within an enlarged window view that will be less distracting because the ribbon bar is no longer present under this view. From here, you can also test out any customizations that you've made to your slide. So when you're in the reading mode, you can use the left or right arrows to scroll between the slides. And you can also use your mouse or the left or right keys. Either one will browse through the slides. From the center panel, we also have additional features. And so when we click on here, as you can see, a menu pops up. Right here, we can use, for example, the magnify slide tool. This tool, when we use this one, once we click it, you'll see that there's a large rectangle with the magnifying glass icon with a little plus. So this tool is a great function so that you can draw the audience attention to a specific detail within our slide. So, um, to get out of this view, we simply just hit the escape button and we'll go back to our regular view. You also have the option to end the slideshow within the center panel. So if we click our menu, put end show, and it'll revert back to our original viewpoint. So let's go back to our normal view. Okay. And the last icon on here is also called the slideshow view. So when you launch that one, uh, it will automatically also start your presentation, or also basically open the full screen mode. The only issue with using this launch with a presentation is that it's going to just start at whatever slide you're currently on. It won't go to the first slide. So before I go on, I want to quickly show you something that I did with my slides. So as you can see, all of my slides have different bullet points, which are the areas right here. This is a big no-no when working with your PowerPoints. Um, you want to make sure that you are using the same style bullet points throughout your presentation. And the way you can customize the bullet points would be if we're on our text box. If we go to the paragraph section under this drop-down menu, you can choose the different varieties of bullet points that we can choose from. Okay, so now when you are generating a PowerPoint presentation, you should try to have at minimum a title page, a table of contents, a few slides are composed of your main body of work, a conclusion slide, and if possible, a question and answer slide where you can essentially linger while you answer any questions and answers once you're done with the presentation. And finally, you can also include a closing slide, which it could be where we put our thank you for being in our presentation. So now that I've explained some features for PowerPoint, let's begin working on an example. So one cool shortcut you can use um, to launch a new PowerPoint, if you already have your PowerPoint application open and running, is to simply enter the Control button as well as the N key, and this will essentially launch us into a new presentation mode. So now let me first go ahead and click on our File tab, which is located at the top right corner of our ribbon bar. So when we're in this tab, this is how our PowerPoint would look like if we were to have opened it from scratch, going to the icon or under the search menu, wherever your PowerPoint application is located. So from here, you can choose to either start a new presentation by clicking on the new icon, or you can select the blank presentation icon as well. Either one will launch the new presentation. You also have the option to open previous files. If you look under my recent tab, you can see a list of any of my recent projects that I've worked on, as well as you can see when the last time I either accessed or modified my files. So let's go ahead and select our blank presentation tile. So you can simply just click on the tile and it'll launch a new presentation. You can also use your right click on your mouse over the icon and then select create, and that will launch us into the new presentation mode. So as you can see, once we are in our new presentation mode, the first slide that is generated is called our title slide. So this slide is composed of two types of text placeholders. As you can see, we have the two rectangular shapes with a dotted outer borderline. This area is specifically designed for holding text. There's another type of placeholder that you can add different objects like pictures, icons, video clips, tables, or graphs, and I'll demonstrate that a little bit in our next slide or so. So the top placeholder is where we will put our title of presentation. So if you can see when I position my mouse over the box, the text holder placeholder text box, you can see that our mouse changes from the white arrow to an I-beam. That means that you can click anywhere within this title box, and when we do that, you can see that our text has disappeared, and that means, and as you can see, the I-beam is now flashing. That means that we are ready to start inserting our text. So for this slide, I'm going to call my title Monsters Fiction versus Film. So one thing to remember is that you should try and capitalize every first letter of the word that you use between the title. So now that I've entered my text, it looks a little bit dull, and I want to quickly demonstrate how we can adjust the font style, color, and size using the font grouping that is located within our Home tab, which is the area right here. Uh, so in order for any changes to occur to our title, we have to either have them pre-selected before we start typing our words. But as you can see, if I was to say I want to do my bold, italicized, or underlined, nothing is happening to my text because I've already typed my text. So if you want the changes to occur, you can either have them selected beforehand, or you can also highlight your text and do the changes. So to highlight our text, we're going to go ahead and click on either the left or right end of the last letter of our word and simply just drag it across. Once it's highlighted, you will see that there's a gray outer box around the text. And now once we select anything of the changes, it will start customizing. Oh, sorry, it's only did one. You can see that it starts doing the changes, but we don't want to do that. So let's go ahead and undo this. Okay. And so I did want to make my text font bold. So we can simply select the letter B, or you can also use the shortcut Control B, and it'll also make our text font bold. For my size, to increase the size of our text, you have a few options. You can either manually select a number, you can also enter a number, or you can also use these little icons. So the A with the up arrow means it'll increase our text, but it will only increase within the limits of our box. So if we wanted to go a bigger size, we need to increase our box size, highlight our text, and now we can go a little bit larger. As you can see, it's only limited with that space, but we can also use the A with the down arrow, and that'll also decrease our font. And as you can see, the numbers automatically either enlarge or decrease depending on which one you're using. So now, one thing I want to cover quickly is the alignment group, which is under our paragraph group setting, which is the area right here. So there's right alignment, center alignment, or left alignment. So for titles, usually they're already center alignment, so you just keep it on there. And this is just a demonstration of how it would look if you change the alignment type. Um, let's say I want to change the color of my font. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and find our letter icon with the little red line beneath it. This will allow us to change our font colors. So when we select the drop-down menu, you can see a variety of different theme colors that you can choose from. You also have the option of generating your own color with some more colors. And the color we want to choose for today is purple. So I'm going to go ahead and hit on that one. And finally, to change our text, we go to this area right here, and you have different options that you can choose from. The text I wanted to use for my presentation, I know that it's got the area around it, so I could just start typing it, and it'll automatically generate our text. So one thing to keep in mind when you are building your presentation is that you do want to use the same font type throughout the project. So now for our subtitle, there's the area down here. This is where we can provide a more detailed description of what the slide content will be. So when it comes to school projects or work presentations, this would be the section where you can put down your name. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my name, and then sorry, misspelled that. And then my job title. So I'll put library assistant. And also today's date, which is September 17, 2025. So now that we've entered our text, it still looks a little plain. So I'm going to add a few customizations before we move on to our next slide. So the first thing I'm going to do is decrease the size and move it down a little bit to the bottom. And I also want to move my title a little bit more up. So, okay. So the first thing I want to do is add icons to my title page. So to insert the icons, if we go to our Insert tab under the ribbon toolbar, if you go under the illustration group setting right here, you can see the icon, which is the little bird with the leaf. If we click on this icon, it will open a box that is basically our area where we can search between the different types of icons available. You also have the option of entering a keyword. So let's say I'm going to choose monsters, and it will show you the different types of icons that have monsters in the word. So let me go ahead and select this one and this one. And if we want to add them to our presentation, we need to hit insert so that they're going to be added. So as you can see, they are automatically added together. Um, Go ahead and close this out. This inner tab will sometimes show up. It's a function that PowerPoint provides for you, and it will give you different options that you can customize our tiles, but we're not going to use that for today. Let's say we want to move our icons to a different page. As you can see, they're moving together, and we can't get them to separate, but we can easily do this by clicking outside of the icon. Now you can individually move each one to a different position. Okay. And now I want to cover resizing objects. So as you saw, I resized my text font earlier, but now I want to go ahead and explain it a little bit further. So when you click on whatever object you're trying to resize, you'll see that there's going to be 8 white dots that are going to show up around the object. These are called sizing handles or also the resize handles. So the corner dots are usually the best ones to use when you're resizing an object because it will allow you to resize your object proportionally. If you were to use the top or bottom um, or even the side dots, it's going to resize our object, but it won't be proportional, meaning our object can either shrink in size or stretch, and it basically distorts our view. So let's go ahead and undo that. Okay, so whenever we click on our icon, you also see that there's a little menu that pops up. This is called the Replace Your Icon menu. So when we click on that, you have the option to choose different icons that are on display. If you select one of those, it'll change it to that. You can also click under See All Icons and it'll launch you back into the search field. But if we were to select something, if we hit enter, it's gonna basically remove our object. So we don't want to do that. Let's go ahead and hit cancel. And now let's start, increase this one a little bit from right here. And let's start generating our next slide. So as you can see, whenever we're going to choose to enter a new slide, we can go to our home field under the slide drop-down menu. You can choose new slide. If you go to the drop-down menu, you can see that there's a few different office themes that are available, and you can see that there's at least 9 different styles to choose from. And the next style slide that we're going to be using is our title and content slide. This slide will allow us to add a title, and as well as you can see, this is the bottom placeholder I mentioned. It has a few icons within each box. All these icons are the same ones that you can find if you were to look for them under the ribbon toolbar. The placeholder is designed as a way so that you don't have to go looking for this individual object. Ways to insert the objects onto our placeholder. So you also have the option to either start typing text. So for this slide, I want to go ahead and name it table of content, but I'm going to go ahead and center it first and table of content. So as you can see, our font didn't generate a color or change, but we can easily click here to change our color. And if we select the drop-down menu, you'll see that under recently used fonts, it'll have the one that we recently used. So you can easily just click on that. And now for the bottom section right here, I'm gonna put my list. So regularly you would be listing what the content of your PowerPoint slide is gonna be. But to keep this brief, I'm just gonna go ahead and type out author biographies and the monsters. And again, my text didn't take the change. So if you, another shortcut is if you can select Control A to select all the text within that box and just do our changes. Okay, so now let's go ahead and start making our next slide. So another way you can insert a new slide is if you go to the Insert tab under New Slide. You also have the same options to choose from the 9 different tiles. And the next one we're going to use is the comparison slide. So this one is typically good for making comparisons, but it's also aesthetically appealing because it allows us to not only put our title, but as well as a subsection title within our object area. So for this one, our title is going to be the authors of famous monsters. And then for my subsection, I'm going to name mine or and another shortcut that you can do for centering your text is you can hit Control and E, and it'll automatically center align our icon for typing out the text. So for this one, I'm going to call it the authors. And then for our next one, you can also change the alignment. Another shortcut would be Control E will center it, Control R will basically revert back to the right, and Control L will normally should go to the left, but it's not working right now, so it's okay. We just do Control E and then hit monsters. And again, my changes aren't generating, so I'll just quickly do this. Okay. And then for our authors, let's go ahead and put Bram Stoker, Mary Shelley, and H.P. Lovecraft. And then under our monster side, let's go ahead and just enter Count Dracula, Frankenstein. As you can see, I misspelled it, and when you misspell a word, you'll see the little red line underneath, and you can simply use the right-click button, and it'll give you a overview of what it thinks you're trying to spell. And finally, let's go ahead and put Herbert West. Okay, so the next slide that we're going to use is our title only slide. Which is title only. This is going to allow us to basically do an introduction before we do our body of content. Before we generate this slide, as you can see, it automatically puts our title section at the top, but we want it towards the middle. And let's go ahead and type out the authors. For this font, I actually wanted to change the style a little bit. I really like how Viva Beautiful looks, but it is a little small, so we have to enlarge it to fit in. And get a larger box, and then go a little bit bigger and center. That's I think it looks nice. Okay, so now our next slide is going to be the two content slide. So let's go ahead and put new slide and the two content slide. With this one, you have the option to put a title as well as two different types of content. So for this one, our title will be, let's pre-select our color. That way we don't have to do that ahead of time. Authors of Monsters in Fiction. So under this box, I want to go ahead and add an image. So I'm going to use the icons within our placeholder. So the insert image icon is the one right here. As you can see, if you click over each icon, you'll see a little overview of what each one is. So let's go ahead and hit pictures. It automatically jumps. It's supposed to be a different view, sorry. Um, it automatically opens our insert picture folder. So when we are here, we have to locate the image that we want to find. Uh, I, should know where your images are stored. Um, it makes adding our images a lot faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my flash drive because I know that's where I have them saved. And PowerPoint images, and let's do PowerPoint partition. Sorry about that. I wanted to display this example real quick. So if, let's say that this was how my view setting was supposed to be. As you can see the titles for the different ones, but you can't see what the images look like. So I know you can see it earlier, but I just wanted to demonstrate this quickly. You can simply right click on the menu, go to view, and change the way that the icons are displayed. And now you can see the images that you can work with. So this is the one that we're going to be inserting. And as you can see, the image automatically shrinks down to fit within the content placeholder. Uh, so let me quickly show you some ways that you can customize our image. So when we click on our image under the picture format icon tab, you can see that there's different things to work with. So the one that we want to go to is under picture styles. If you see the drop down menu right here, you'll see that there's different styles of preset things to add to your image, like a frame or oval shape or things like that. So this is the one I like. But that's just one option you can use for customizing your pictures. So let me quickly enter some facts at our second placeholder. So remember the 555 rule. We're going to use 5 facts in short statements. I'm going to put born in November 8, 1847, died April 20. Oh, and then this should have been on. So if you can see if you have a spelling where it thinks that you have the correct word, you can also do the drop down menu and it'll give you different suggestions. So on should have been the correct one we use. Okay. 20, 1947, also known as Bram Stoker. He was an Irish novelist and he created Count Dracula. Okay, so I wanted to add his name to the top of this section right here. So to do this, we can use our text box. So let me go ahead and shrink this down. And this area gives us enough space to start inserting our text box. So to do this, we go to the Insert tab. Under the text group setting, you can see that there's a text box. So when we go ahead and click on that, it'll give us this icon view that looks like a little plus sign. That means it's ready to start generating our text box. So to do this, you simply click on one side and drag it across to however big you want it. And let's go ahead and change our font and also center it and put Abraham Stoker. And get adjusted a little bit. And that's one way you could generate this slide. So now I want to cover a few other formats that we can do to our pictures. So let's go ahead and click on our image and go back to our picture format tab that's located on the left-hand side of our screen. So if we go to the adjust group setting, there's a few icons with drop-down menus where we can choose different things. So the first option that we have is our color icon. This is where we can change the color of our image. We can choose between color saturation. There's also color tones, as well as you can recolor the image. So like we do that, it'll change our image to purple. There's also our second icon, which is the artist effect. So when we hit that, this will visually transform your image and can make it resemble a drawing, painting, as well as a variety of other different artistic styles, as you can see. And then finally, our transparency icon, which is right here. This will allow us to control the opacity of your image. And you can also change the image by using the second icon right here, which is called the change your icon. It'll give us a drop-down menu and you can just choose where you want to insert the image from. If we were to do this, it'll change the actual image that we are currently working with. You also have the option to undo what changes you've done to your picture. So you can go ahead and put reset picture and it'll go back to our size. Let's go ahead and undo this. I'm sorry, that's the wrong function. Control C, and you can also put reset picture and size, and it'll basically go back to what our original size was when we inserted our image. So now I want to quickly demonstrate a different way of adding images to our slides, which is a drag and drop style. So I already have my folder pre-opened, but as you can see, the folder is actually taking over the whole screen. So there's no really any place where we can drag and drop our images. So what we can do is hit our restore down button, and that's going to minimize our screen. And as you can see the view from here, there's a lot of different images and file types, but we don't know what they are, and some of them have different names. So we can, this is what I wanted to present earlier, change our view setting to extra large icons, and now we can see, but these are not a correct file. So let's go ahead and go to PowerPoint images for presentation. And the one I wanted to demonstrate is Bela Lugosi as Dracula. As you can see, I pre-named my files to make it easier to find. So to drag and drop it, you simply click on the image. You'll see the gray outer box and just simply use the left click button to click on the image and start dragging it. As you can see, there's a little ghost shape. And once it's ready to be dropped, you'll see that the icon has a little square plus a plus sign and drop it in place. And there is our image. So as you can see, our image is a little bit big. And let's say we want to crop out this area right here. So what we can do to do this is click on our image under the picture format. If we go to the size group setting right here, we can also control the size from here. You can manually proportionally adjust the size. You can also enter a number. So let's say we want it at 5 inches and it'll automatically adjust the bottom um, shape width. And you also let me go ahead and show how to crop. So if we select this crop icon, it'll basically put little black brackets around our image. These black brackets are what we use to control the shape that we want to crop. So if you can see right here, there's like two little arrows. If I was to click on that and start moving it, instead of actually cropping our image, it's actually resizing our image. So that's not what we want to do. What you want to make sure is that there's a little black bracket and make sure that you're clicking over that bracket. Once you do that, you can start dragging it to what area you want to crop out. You'll see that it's a little bit darker. That means this whole area is going to be cropped once we click outside of our image. And there you go. Another quick thing I want to demonstrate is using the crop to shape. So if we go under the drop down menu, if you go to crop to shape, you can also choose different shapes to put around your object, and it'll basically just crop to that shape. And that basically makes that picture look a lot nicer. And you can just basically position to wherever you wanted to have it, and just make sure that you're aligning everything so that nothing's in the way of each other. Okay, so now that we finished adding our images, what I wanted to do is demonstrate how to add our backgrounds to our slides. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and start from our top um, title slide. Uh, what we can do is use the right click mouse on our tile within the slide pane, and you'll see a little drop down menu that pops out. From here, there's the various features we can choose from, but the one we're going to choose is format background. And when you do that, you'll see that a format background box will pop out to our right of our screen. And there's different styles that you can choose from. So if you were to choose solid fill, you can choose a color. So let's say I wanted to use black. But when you are choosing certain colors, you have to keep in mind that whatever objects as well as font that you have on your screen, it's not going to be taken over by the color. So as you can see, it basically this view makes our icon disappear as well as it can possibly make our viewers strain their eyesight. You also have the option of adjusting the transparency by using either this or the drop-down menu. So as you can see, at 50%, it starts turning to gray. And if we were to put it at 100%, it'll revert back to white. So now another thing that we can choose between is the gradient fill, which this one is a visual effect that creates a smooth, gradual blend between two or more colors, and you can color different aspects using these buttons right here. So we have the picture or texture fill. For this one, you have different pictures that you can choose from. Under insert, you can choose the type of picture, or you can also choose from the different styles that are available. And I like this one. So let's go ahead and click on that one. So as you can see, only our title slide took the change. If we wanted to put on all of the slides, we simply select apply to all, and that will basically put our slides to have the same background. So now I want to quickly go over how to change the order of our slides. To do this, you simply just need to click and drag it down to whatever position that you want to put it in. And now let's go over playing the presentation. So I've already presented to you two different ways where you can launch it. This one is another method. So if we go to the slideshow tab, you have the option of choosing from beginning or from current slide. So if we put from beginning, this will basically start our presentation from the start. And that is our presentation for the short form of presentation. So now I want to show you how you can make a photo slideshow using PowerPoint. So the presentation you just saw is what would be typically for PowerPoint, but there are times when you may want to experiment with the simple presentation composed of just images or headers. So this and not save, and this one. Okay. And so it's composed of a bunch of images and headers. For example, like a photo album. The PowerPoint will give you a very easy way to do this. And I quickly want to show you a photo slideshow that I've already previously generated. So the first thing you need to do before you're going to attempt to make a photo slideshow is to gather your images ahead of time. That way you know the position that you're going to want them in, as well as how you want them arranged and how you want them displayed. So let's go ahead and launch our new project. So we can go File, New, Plan Presentation. And I've already demonstrated how to add images with our last slide, our last project. So now let me quickly go over two features I didn't cover. So when we go to the insert pictures, there's also stock images that you can choose from. When you click on stock images, you'll see a folder with a variety of different images that are associated with Microsoft 365. And also the next one I want to cover is If you go to the insert online pictures, this is going to give you a wider selection of images to choose from. These images are powered by Bing, but you can also start typing Axel and hit enter, and you'll see that it'll give us a few different images to choose from. Okay, so let's go ahead and hit cancel. And let's start working on our photo slideshow. So the first thing we need to do is change our slide layout. So we go to the Insert tab under New Slide. If we go, I'm sorry, wrong one. Go to Home under the slide icon. Go to the Layout drop-down menu, and now you can choose from the different type of themes. The one we want to work with is our blank template. This will allow us to have basically a blank canvas to work with. So now let's go ahead and insert our first picture. So insert picture and from this device. And when we do that, our insert menu box will appear. From here, we need to locate the folder that contains the images that we wish to add to our slides. So I had already saved my images to my download folder. So let's go ahead and go to our download folder. So if you see the left hand side of the menu with the scroll bar, you could choose between the different areas where you have images located. So let's go to our download folders, PowerPoint images, and I think it was images for example slideshow. Okay, so now that we're here, let's go ahead and choose this one to insert and insert. So you can see the picture is a little bit big and it takes over our shape size, but there's no background formatting. We have to manually adjust our picture, move it around, add graphics to it or anything. And then if we want to add a title slide, we can also change the title slide to make it layout put title. And then as you can see, we have to do all kinds of adjustments, and we're going to have to do this for every single slide. So this is a little bit time consuming. So let me quickly demonstrate a very simple and easy method where you can generate your slideshow in no time. So let's go ahead and undo all of these things. Okay, so now that we're at blank sync, let's go ahead and go to the Insert tab. If you go to the Images group setting under the photo album, click on New Photo Album. It's going to generate this box right here. And what we need to do is now go and click on our file disk icon. This is going to launch our folders where we want to select our images from. And from here, you can either start searching by name if you know a specific image you're looking for, or you locate wherever your folder is. Since I already inserted an image, it automatically opens to where I last had inserted my image from. This won't always work. Sometimes you'll have to manually go search for where you have our images located. So now let's go ahead and enter our picture. So we can simply click and drag all of it, but it makes it a little bit harder. You have to basically position in a way where you're dragging everything, or you can simply click within the box and put Control A. All of our images will be selected and just hit insert. So as you can see, now that we did that, all of our images are displayed in this little section right here, which is pictures in album. We can reposition the way that they are set up. So like, let's say I wanted to put my Indian flying flag fox to be maybe my third slide. To do any other changes, I have to click on this icon right here, this little box. It allows us to move it up or down, and it also gives us the option to delete something. So let me say I want to delete the Phil Shark. Make sure that you unselect the other one and hit remove, and that'll make that image disappear. You also have the option to put all your pictures in black and white, or you can also choose the picture layout. So fit to slide will basically make our image be stretched throughout the full slide. You can also choose to do one picture. As you can see, the display here will change the style. The one I wanted to do is one picture with tile. And as you can see, it'll basically have our small title and our image will be right here. When we do this, we also have the option of putting captions below all pictures. But if we do that, I'll demonstrate what the issue is with that a little bit down the line. So let me go ahead and continue. So right here under frame shape, you can also change the way that the frame is displayed around your image. So let's say we want compound black frame, and I am okay with my selections. And now we can go ahead and hit create. As you can see, it will automatically insert all of our images with the position centered, as well as have an area where we can put our title slide. And then from here, we can just basically start naming each individual image. And uh, so let me quickly show you another uh, thing that you can do with this option. Hold on. Okay, so for the black background and things, this is just a template that was automatically generated. I didn't specifically choose this. So let me quickly demonstrate another way where you can change the style. So let's go back to insert photo album. So just know that any thing you insert into the PowerPoint is not permanent. You can change anything at any point. So like, let's see, we're to edit photo album. Now we can go ahead and do our changes. So let's go ahead and put captions below all pictures, as well as under themes. We're going to go ahead and choose from the different themes available. These are preset themes available through PowerPoint. So if we were to basically select this one and put select, and then update, you'll see that it'll change the composure of our frame. But you can see that it also requires some adjusting, and we don't want that. I actually like how it looks in the black one. So let me just quickly add title to it. And that's basically what you would do. And I think I didn't show the example. So let me quickly demonstrate the example I was mentioning earlier about the captions. So let's go photo album, edit photo album, captions below all pictures, and update. So as you can see, once we do that, it's gonna have the title of whatever we named our file beneath each picture. So this is good in some aspects if you didn't want to go through the option. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Of inserting the title or putting a title, but you also have to have the file saved with whatever you want to show up. Otherwise, um, you'll have something like this where that's how I had my file named. And so we don't want that. And from here, you just basically start adding or customizing our shapes. So like for here, I want to crop out this little dark shape. So hit the image, crop, and then that would crop out anything that we don't like from our image. We can also reposition our picture by clicking on our picture. Oh, it's not doing it. I guess it's not in this mode. Sorry about that. But yeah, that basically you just do those changes, and that's basically our slideshow. And then the next thing you would just do is it auto generates the title to be photo album, and you can just change the title. So like, let's say I want to call mine Nightmare Animals. And the font's a little basic, so we can also change the font to other styles. The one I liked for my original was called Gaudi Stout. And as you can see, it's a little skewed because of the text box, so you can just stretch it out. And there is our slideshow. And if we were to basically launch it by hitting the control F, sorry about that. Uh, And this is our photo slideshow. Okay, so now let's quickly go over how to um, build our deck of flashcards for studying. Before I go on, I do want to quickly mention that there is a way where you can generate your own theme by using the Slide Master tool, but this is a little bit more advanced and would require a lot more explaining to do, so we won't present this today. And I think it's going to be covered in on the intermediate presentation. So now let's go ahead and open my flashcard demo. So we're going to go ahead and close this out. And we don't want to save this. Okay, so okay, so before you start working on our flashcards, we do want to mention that it is good to gather all the materials you're going to need to be using to generate your flashcards. So whether it's definitions, key terms, or whatever you're trying to study, make sure that you have the correct answers. That way, when you start generating your slides, you're studying while making the slides. So, one thing to keep in mind when generating your slides is to keep the same font style throughout each slide, as well as try to keep the size consistent. That way, you your eyes will get adjusted to reading the prompts and not get distracted by too many things happening on the screen. So let me quickly review some of the flashcards I previously generated. So as you can see under my slide pane, you just see a bunch of green slides with words on it, but nothing else. But uh, just like how when you have a flashcard with an index card, you use the front side for our answer or question, and the back side would be the front side could be our question, and the back side would be our answer. So let me quickly show you how our uh, cards are actually generated. So let's go ahead and go to slideshow from beginning. So as you can see, our first word is atom. When we click on it, it's gonna basically collapse the image, and then our next one is going to expand, and it's our definition, which is the basic unit of a chemical element. Make sure that you have the correct answers when generating this, that way you're not sending the wrong materials. And as you can see, uh, our green cards are our question cards, which are key terms, and our blue cards are the back end of the card. So this will be our answer card. So let's go ahead and get out of here and start a new project. Before I go on, I do quickly want to demonstrate an easy way to reuse slides from a previous presentation. While you can easily open a file and do edits to it, there's another way where you can insert our slides into a new project. So if we go under Insert, under the slide New Slides drop-down menu, go ahead and select Reuse Slides. This will open our Reuse Slides menu to the right-hand side. If we go under our Browse icon, it will take us to our Browse folder where we can start choosing where we want to find our files from. So I have mine saved to my Downloads file, I believe. And let's go ahead to PowerPoint Images. And I think it was the flashcards to import and hit open. So when you do that, you're going to see that all your slides are automatically generated on our reuse slide screen. And to insert them, we simply just click on each one and it will auto populate into our new document that we're working with. As you can see, my first tile is blank, so that's the one that we're going to be working with to uh, explain how we can build our flashcards. So the first thing that we want to do is change our slide layout. So let's go ahead and go home, layout, and make it blank. That way we have our full canvas to work with. Okay, so the things we're going to be using, the object we're going to be using to generate these flashcards is our shapes icon. So we go to under Insert, uh, under shapes. If you go in the drop down menu, you'll see the different types of shapes that you can insert. The one that we're going to be using for this one is our rectangle shape. So let's go ahead and click on that. As you can see, this little plus sign, that means our shape icon is ready to start generating our shape. So to do this, we just click on one end of our slide and drag it across until we have our rectangle shape. Okay, now that we have our rectangle shape, uh, I want to go ahead and duplicate my shape because I need my front and back side of our card. So to do this, I simply hit the control button. As you can see, when I hit the control button, my icon changes from the little cross with our mouse icon to a mouse with a little plus and rectangle. That means our object is ready to be duplicated. So simply by holding down the control button, we click on our object and we drag it, and that will duplicate our shape. Okay, so now let's start entering our words into our shapes. So the first thing that we're going to do to enter the word into our first shape is double click on the shape. As you can see, the I-beam icon is now popping up. That means it's ready to start, uh, for our text to start being inserted. So let's go ahead and put our first word, which is going to be organism. Okay, and now that we enter our text, as you can see, the text does not match what was on our previous cards. So the text that I used was Arial Black. So let me go ahead and adjust our text, go to the home button, and then just put Arial Black. And that will change our text. And now let's go ahead and enter our definition into our second shape. So double click on the box and let's put living thing that has and organized structure. So as you can see, the word I use could possibly be the incorrect definition. That's why it's always better to know that you are using the correct definition terms. Like if you were studying a subject and your teacher presented you with the correct definition, it's better to use whatever materials you need to study for instead of just putting whatever you think is the correct answer. Okay, so now that we've generated our two front and back sides of our cards, let's go ahead and change the background color since we want our question or our key term card to be green. So to do this, we're going to go ahead and click on our first shape, and then we're going to go to the shape format tab and select the shape fill icon, which is you can find it, which is beneath the slideshow tab. You can see the little paint bucket. If we click on the little drop-down menu, it'll give us a different variety of colors to choose from. And the one that we wanted to use would be green. Okay, so now that we've adjusted our color on our card, uh, the next thing we want to do is add animations to our shapes. This is what's going to enable our cards to both uh, collapse or expand the way that I had already generated them. As you can see, these objects do not have any animations, but if you can see my other slides, there's a little star. That star means that I have it set to have a animation. And as you can see, when I click on our object, you can see a little one. And I'll show you how it looks once we add animations to our new slides. So let's go ahead and start doing that. So click on our first shape, go to our animation tab. So as you can see, there's a variety of different animations to choose from, but the one that we want to use is collapse. So if we go to the drop-down menu, we can view the different types of options that there is. There's a lot of them, and unfortunately, we don't see collapse anywhere on here. This is because our animation is more advanced. And to get this advanced animation, we just have to click under more exit effects because we want our first card to exit from the screen when our animations are activated. So to add our collapse animation. If we go under to where the moderate section is, you can see this has collapse. As you can see, my preview effect is clicked on. That means that whatever I select, you'll see a little sample of it, but the one we want to use is collapse. And then just hit OK. And that will add our animation to this object. As you can see, a little red box with the number one has generated. This means this is our first animation for this slide. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the same thing to our answer key. So again, click on the object, go, since we're already in the animations, we don't have to go to the tab again, go to the drop-down menu. And the one that we're looking for is for expand because we want our answer to expand as we click onto it. As you can see, if we go to our entrance effects, there's no expand on here because this is another advanced thing that we need to go. So let's go to more interest effects. And if we go under to our subtle options, we'll see the expand one. And we simply hit OK, and that will add our second animation to our slide. So now what we need to do is make our flashcards large so that it basically fills up the whole screen. So what you need to do is click on the object and just position to the corner. Actually, the one that we want to do is our second object because we want this to be the back side of our card. So let's go ahead and align it to the corner and stretch it out to fit the full screen within the slide window. Okay, and now that we've done that, we want to basically make this the backside of our card. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and enlarge my text. That way it's bigger and as well as it's not the correct text. So let's go ahead and change that to, there you go. Okay, so now what we want to do is, like I said, send this shape to the back. So click on the shape, go under shape format, under the arrange setting. We can choose to bring forward, send backwards. And what we're trying to do is make this the back side. So we go ahead and click send backwards. And now we can see our green shape has popped up. So now we can do the same thing, enlarge our shape. And now let's go ahead and make our font larger. And you can also just manually enter a number, and it's a little bit big, so adjust it accordingly. And there you go. Okay, so now let's go ahead and preview this slide to make sure that it's properly running. So let's go ahead and select our slideshow. And if we click, it basically collapsed and it expanded. That means it worked properly. I didn't properly adjust it all the way. As you can see, there's a little white border. Depending on um, if you get easily distracted, I know I would prefer to have the shape fully the size of the slide. That way there's no uh, white space. You could adjust accordingly. Okay, so now that we've done that, I quickly want to demonstrate another quick way that you can uh, generate these shapes without doing too much work. So by doing a simple duplicate slide, you'll be able to generate as many slides that you want to work with and just change the words. So let me quickly demonstrate. So um, right click menu on our tile slide and then go to where it says duplicate slide. And as you can see, it generated with our star already animated because it already has our animations preloaded. So now what we need to do is basically change our words and our answers. But as you can see, the screen's a little bit large. So what we can do is adjust our zoom by making it a little bit smaller. That way we have a wider area to work with. And we just basically move our shape to the side. And let's make it a little bit smaller that we have more space to work with. As you can see, it'll open a lot of wider space, but anything that's outside of this area won't be on the slide. I said I didn't like the white space, so okay. So let's go ahead and change this to compound. As you can see, it's a little bit big, so let's adjust the size a little bit. That way it's more and too small. Okay, and then change our definition and put. So depending on your definition, if it's really long, you may have to adjust accordingly, but try to keep a similar shape, size, text size. That way it's more uniform. And two or more different chemical elements are bonded together. So as you can see, if it's a little bit tight on the space, so we would basically adjust it a little bit. Let's do 65, and that's better. And then basically put our card back in place. And now we can zoom in back in place. Um, and now we can view our slideshow from the start and we'll transition. And there is our flashcards. So that basically concludes our presentation for today. Now I want to say thank you for listening, and let's see if we have time for some question and answers. All right.
Thanks, Veronica. That was great. That was a lot of information, and I hope that people appreciated the vast amount of features that you showed with PowerPoint. PowerPoint can really do a lot, and so this is just the beginning of somebody's exploration of this software and its capabilities. We'll cover more of that next week with intermediate PowerPoint. Now, we've been answering questions, and I want to just give a shout out to Julian Zamora and Selenia Marquardt, who have been behind the scenes helping out answering questions throughout the presentation. We do have a question here in the chat. Thank you. Do you have any handouts? We do indeed, and we will include those, the keyboard shortcuts, as well as a handout with some additional resources and what was covered in this class during in the follow-up email. Let me see. So we have been covering questions throughout. Um, Here is a question that came up. How did she reduce the box size in one click? So I don't know if that relates to a text box or do you know
I'm not quite sure what the question is.
so how did she reduce the box size in one click? So did you when you were sizing, is there a way to size down items or size up items with a single click?
Uh, in regards to which slide? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Which?
it was the flashcards.
Oh, okay. So when I zoomed out, is that what they're talking about?
That's I'm not sure. It shows in the what's it called. It shows in the the person mentions the in the last demo. It may
Um,
be when you selected multiple boxes. Oh, you use zoom in.
yeah,
It says, I think it's a question. Do you use zoom in?
yeah. I did control, and then with the scroll button of my mouse, that automatically zoom in, zoom out.
Oh,
I'm not
I see.
sure if that's what they
Do
mean.
you want to bring it up and see if you can demonstrate? That might be helpful.
So this is that what they're
Is
talking
that
about?
is that let's see. Yeah, so yeah, we have so these are the full slides, and then that's an image that covers a whole slide zoomed out. Yes,
Yeah.
that's
So
exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, so what we're doing there is we're zoom so
yeah,
the
you can
slides
also
remain the same
manually.
size, but you're just, you're magnifying it and then adjusting the zoom. So on the bottom right hand side, you can see that at that point it's zoomed in 24%. And then if you use the mouse wheel, is it control and the mouse wheel,
Yeah.
Veronica? Yeah. And
Yes.
that lets you automatically zoom out without toggling that slider on the bottom. Let's see. Any other questions? Currently, we have no open questions, but we do have another minute or two for any other questions that are available. Let's see. Do you teach anything related for the LA County job, such as for beginner clerk? So we do not have classes specific to specific job classifications. Some of the virtual programs that we've had do cover skills necessary in a variety of job classifications, but we don't map them with the job classifications. When you print the flashcard, will they print in both sizes? So I don't, if you print the flashcards, you wouldn't be able to print the flashcard because you're overlaying one, so you'd only see the one on the very top. So if what you want to do is print it, you might use Microsoft Word for that. That might be easier because then you could adjust the size of it and cut them onto the cards.
Or you can also just do two slides. The first slide would be
Mhm.
the question, the second slide would be the other one, and you could transition between each one. It would just be a lot more slides that you have to generate, and
Yeah.
that would, yeah, so it would be a lot more work. I mean, you can do it, but
Yeah, it might be easier to use a different program. Let's see, will you be having a seminar for making resumes in the future? We've had seminars for making resumes in the past. If you email me, and I'll put my email in the chat, I will send you a link to a few of those because we've had a bunch and they're on YouTube. So I'll be happy to send a link for those. And I just put my email in the chat. If anybody has questions, feel free to email me about PowerPoint or any of our past programs. So can we add pronunciation of the word on the flashcard?
as in how to pronounce the word, yeah, because
I mean,
you could put it
just
like
text.
underneath and put it phonetically.
Yeah.
That would be one way. It's just you're adding the text. So anything you add to the slide, you control. You can add whatever you want. So if you wanted to add the pronunciation to the text, you can do either another text box or just beneath whatever text you type. You can put it at a smaller size. It's just, you have to customize it however you want it to view.
And then if somebody wants to put an audio file, would they be able to also put an audio file onto the slide?
I haven't worked with audio. I know you can do video, so I would assume yes.
Let me take a look. Yeah, I think in the under insert, that's yeah, you can do all the way at the on the under insert. I have PowerPoint on my screen. All the way on the right hand side says video, audio, screen recording. So you can put audio files absolutely. And it'll usually just show up as a little speaker on the
Yeah.
flashcard so that when you do the presentation, you can click on it and everything.
And it says, you can see it says insert audio from your computer. So you have to have your file already saved, or you can also record the audio and you'll be able to customize however you want, and then you'll be able to insert it from there.
Perfect. Let's see. That says, "Hi everyone. Will there be a QuickBooks class or something related anytime soon? As far as I know, there are no plans currently to teach accounting software." Let's see, can I keep a copy of this transcript? You will be able to receive this class on YouTube, and I think YouTube offers it on video, but I don't have a text transcript of the class that I can send. And it is, let's see, 12:17. We're pretty much at time. Yeah, we have a question. How do we search for different topics on the library's website? And for that question, I would invite you to email me because that's outside the scope of this course. Um, that said, Veronica, thank you so much for sharing your PowerPoint knowledge. And thanks to everybody for your questions and for your attention. And we will see you hopefully next week. We'll see you next time.
Thank you and bye.